You're about to listen to the Pro Wrestling Zone podcast, a Majestic production property. One of the quickest rising professional wrestling podcasts on the market today, and the most entertaining podcast in the history of existence. Please note, before diving into the show, that this is for entertainment purposes only, so myself and Peanut Gallery engage in exaggerations, dirty or offensive jokes, and satirical comments. If you are a triggered little snowflake who gets professionally offended, this is not the podcast for you. If you do enjoy our work, we ask that you contribute to our Patreon page at patreon.com/MajesticP. Contributors get access to the Discord, vote on what topic we cover, and enjoy exclusive content such as pay-per-view watch parties. Here's a sample of that from NXT TakeOver Portland. What about the other company that Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly went from?
Oh, ROH?
The one that they were signed exclusively to.
Oh, Ring of Honor?
Oh, no. Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. Oh my God. I felt that in my hand. If this is something you believe you would enjoy, visit our Patreon at patreon.com/MajesticP and become a patron. This ensures that we continue to entertain you for years to come. Without further ado, sit back and enjoy the show. All right, and we are back, and we're going to be covering Wrestlemania. I'm going to preface this as saying that I actually like this show.
I did too. I liked it a lot.
Let's cover night one first.
Yep.
And then we'll cover night two, because there were great things about both, and I really enjoyed it.
So let's preface this by saying, yes, this show was pre-taped.
Yep.
No, there were no results produced.
And that was awesome.
Yeah. And night three, and part three, they did a great job, despite the fact that there are no fans.
Right, absolutely. 100%. They saved this WrestleMania.
Oh, absolutely.
They doubled down, they tripled down, they made sure that everything was perfect.
Absolutely.
And I think it showed in some matches. There are some matches I was incredibly disappointed in, but there were some matches that surprised me.
So let's talk about the matches now. Let's talk about matches for... Rob Gronkowski hosted both nights.
I thought he did a pretty good job.
I thought he did a pretty good job as well. Not too much of Rob, which I enjoyed. Thank goodness. Not a lot of mojo either, which I liked. Again, it was a good mix, and it's just one of those things.
Right.
So let's talk about night number one.
So the first match was the Women's Tag Team Championship.
Well, what about
match.
the pre-show?
That was Cesaro and Drew Gulak.
It was an alright match.
Cesaro did the USO.
Yes.
Which is a move that he did in CZW.
Yes.
Where both of these guys actually wrestled in CZW, so that was a kind of cool little throwback. Yeah. And Cesaro won, which is good, and it was a fine match.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was going to expect a little bit better, but at the same time, they're pre-show in front of the fans. So it's a little bit of a different situation, but overall, it was fine.
Yeah, let's talk about Kabuki Warriors versus Bliss Cross.
Yes, this was a great match.
It was.
I loved this fucking match.
This match was awesome.
Except, a lot of people were joking, and I'm going to have to tend to agree with them, for the women's matches, it sounds like they're fucking each other.
Which is fine.
Right? I mean, it's fine, but at the same time, it's like, oh my, I might need to turn down my volume because my neighbors are going to come up here. I mean, they're going to yell, eventually they're going to yell at us for something.
Right.
We're very loud people. But this was they're moaning and groaning, and they're doing wrestles, and they're going, yeah! I'm like, whoa! I might need to get some lotion, man.
Right?
Jesus Christ. But the match itself was really good. It was paced very nicely. Mm-hmm. There were really good moments of hot tags and comebacks. Nikki Cross. This was Nikki Cross's match.
Oh, absolutely.
She looked awesome. The Kabuki Warriors looked like they were having fun.
Yeah.
Which you can tell when a wrestler has fun because they do a great job.
Yeah, and I think that they got a lot more leniency because it's not something they're expected to attend or to be a part of, but they made a choice.
It was a swinging neckbreaker by Cross and then a twisted Bliss for Bliss Cross to not only win the Women's Tag Team Champions, but be the first ever 2-time Women's Tag Team
Exactly.
Champions. And it was a great match.
It was.
I did not expect this match to be as good as it was.
No, but it was a great opening match. King Corbin versus Elias.
This
bad match. Oh my God.
It was messy. It was boring. I did not know what the fuck was going on.
King Corbin, I mean, Baron Corbin, you put on the most boring matches in history. I don't know how you do it, but you can make a great wrestler look like shit because you're so bad at your job.
Look at Kurt Angle. Then eventually, like that match.
I know that match
went over like a wet fart, and it's not like, oh, this is. It wasn't like your Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Right.
This was Kurt fucking Angle, who is an amateur wrestler, but is so goddamn entertaining.
Right.
But at the same time, Kurt Angle shouldn't have been wrestling.
Right.
I'll just be honest.
But it was this retirement, quote unquote, retirement match. And it's like, dude, anyone but fucking Baron Corbin.
And John Cena was in the building.
Yeah.
Have it against John Cena. That would have been cool.
Right.
And I think people would have been really nostalgic over it, and they could have actually pulled out something kind of fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kurt Angle is not as mobile as he used to be.
Right, but still, with John Cena, at least it could have been a good match.
You had to put him in there with a veteran to make him look good.
Absolutely.
You cannot put him in there with a young guy to make him look bad.
Right.
And he did.
Yeah, but that is what it is.
Right.
Elias won, obviously, blah, blah, blah. No one cares because it was just...
And they're going to continue this rivalry. What the fuck
Unfortunately.
ever. I know. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's Champion.
I was so disappointed, not only in the outcome of this match, but this match itself was just disappointing.
It was kind of boring.
I felt like it ended way too soon.
It never got out of second gear.
No.
It was like, okay, they're starting to do some stuff. I like some of the chain wrestling.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, a Barracuda clutch counter where Shayna Baszler was pinned. What?
Right.
It was like a blink of an eye thing. I don't even know how long this match was.
It was like 8 minutes and some odd seconds. It wasn't very long.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, you expect a Becky Lynch Shayna Baszler match to
Becky
actually...
Lynch has had this title for a year.
Becky Lynch is not a god. In fact, she's not very good. I don't like Becky Lynch. I don't want her to be champion anymore.
It's getting bad. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they...
Are they waiting for Ronda Rousey to suddenly return?
Put on Shayna Baszler, have Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey.
I would pay for that. I won't pay for fucking Becky Lynch versus Ronda. Well, I might.
Becky Lynch is one of those girls who, I mean, like, it was good for a while, but her momentum is done. And
yeah, her momentum is just gone.
Shayna Baszler came into this with all the momentum in the world.
Right.
She killed everyone in the Elimination Chamber. She has been unstoppable from a very successful, very dominant NXT Women's Championship reign, and then she loses to Becky Lynch by a pinfall that Kairi Sane did as well. Same exact finish.
Stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid.
And we'll come back to it, but honestly, the blue Women's Champion looked a little bit better.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that when we get to it. Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan for the
This match was
Champion.
okay. It wasn't bad.
The story was awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I love chicken shit heel Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah.
He's dressed up as like, who's that Cuban? I always lose his name.
Who?
The Cuban revolutionary that...
Oh, Fidel Castro.
No, it's not Fidel Castro.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, Fidel Castro.
Literally, I'm gonna look this up.
Fidel Castro is the Cuban revolutionary.
No, Che Guevara.
Oh.
That's one thing you got. Che Guevara.
Oh.
Che Guevara fought for Fidel, so don't even...
Well...
Actually, I'm not sure about that, but no, even his look, even like his new logo with him with a tape over his mouth, it's Che Guevara.
Oh.
And it's, one, I love it. I love this heel, and also I like the name of the faction that they have.
What is it?
The Artistic Collective.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm like, you know what? There's like a little hodgepodge of everything.
Yeah.
All of them are really good. Sami Zayn looks like a great, I have these two great wrestlers. I'm a great wrestler, but I'm let them do the work.
Right.
And I win the belt. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't say a bad thing.
It's
about
not
this
bad.
match.
Dan Bryan, of course, puts on a good match.
Oh, yeah. And Sami Zayn just knows how to do it. He's like, no, way, I'm sorry. Please join us. And it was really fun.
It was. So
It was a really good palate cleanser from literally the shit on the chest. That was Shayna Baszler.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it led very nicely into the triple threat ladder match.
Yeah, John
for the
Morrison,
tag team
Kofi
champions.
Kingston, and Jimmy Uso.
This match was really good.
It was. A lot of spots, but again, ladder match, you expect spots.
Oh, yeah. It was a big spotty match. There were really good times of nice calmness. These guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All of them are veterans. They really manipulated these given circumstances to really work with this, and maybe, especially with the finish.
Yeah, they put on a very compelling match.
And they can revisit this same exact match at the next pay-per-view.
Exactly.
And I don't think anybody would be mad.
No.
So basically what happened was all of them had the tag team champions and the little holder whatever.
Right.
Morrison landed on a prone ladder.
On a bridge ladder. On a ladder bridge.
on a bridge ladder. But the tag team pulled the tag team champions off of the thing.
And then he won because he pulled the tag team
He
champions.
had the tag team champions, but Jimmy Uso and Kofi Kingston had the holder thing.
Right.
So it's like, okay, there was a contention on who actually won.
Right.
Because all three of them at that point had their hands on the thing.
Yeah.
So it was a really great finish, and I think they're like, you know what? With given this circumstance, we want to do this triple threat ladder match with all the teams.
Right.
So let's do this screwy finish.
Right.
To where there is like.
Right. Where we
contention.
need a definite winner for it.
Right. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
And it was just a really good match.
It was.
And I didn't expect anything less.
Right.
So our next match, I didn't really have anything else to say. Did you have anything else to say? Okay.
Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. This was probably the best story going into it tonight. Well, I would say the second best story.
I liked the match.
Match wasn't bad.
So Rollins got himself disqualified.
Yep.
By hitting Owens with a belt. Owens got back in the ring, challenged Rollins immediately to a no disqualification. The match did some really cool stuff.
Right.
Where Owens did a flying elbow, Shane McMahon style, from the big WrestleMania sign that they had in the Performance Center onto Rollins proned on the table.
Right.
Really cool WrestleMania moment spot too. It looked really
it
good.
did. It looked really good.
And
but yeah, no, there was a great story.
And Owens won with a stunner. It was a good match.
It was.
I thought it could have been better, but it was a good match.
It was a good kind of knockout. This rivalry is pretty much over at this point, kind of thing.
Right. The R-Truth segment.
This one was interesting.
So let me lay down this for you. It was Mojo Rawley and Ron Gronkowski. They were on the little platform where Elias fell off of, saying, oh my god, the night's been great. R-Truth kind of comes in, 24/7 champion at that time. He's like, I'm 24/7 champion, I need to hide. Gronk hits Truth, goes for the pin, but then Mojo pushes him off.
Right.
He pushes Gronk off of R-Truth and wins the 24/7 champion, and it was a great little build for what happens later.
Right, for what happens the next day. But we'll talk about that.
I liked how they had this. It was a quick segment.
Yep.
A nice little palate cleanser for what comes in the next two matches.
Right. Or the next match and whatever the hell the Boneyard match was. But we'll talk about that after Goldberg versus Braun Strowman.
For the Universal Champion, it was 4 power slams on Goldberg.
It was a quick match. At least Goldberg lost. Thank
Strowman,
God.
Braun Strowman is Universal Champion.
Thank God.
It was not offensive. I knew going into it what it was going to be.
Yep.
And I know Braun Strowman can do a fun competitive match against Roman Reigns when Roman Reigns comes back.
Exactly. And according to what they say, there might be a chance that Roman Reigns doesn't come back until August.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yep. I don't know exactly why.
So I think we'll give Strowman...
He wasn't sick or anything, right?
I don't know. Who knows? He's just a puss. But anyways, Strowman wins. Strowman's the Universal Champion, finally.
I'm going to fucking kill you. Anyway, the final...
You know, I don't even call this a match. This was just
It was a Boneyard thing.
It was a movie. And it was a tremendous movie.
AJ Styles versus Undertaker it's called a Boneyard match. I'm going to say it's a Boneyard match. And it was final deletion without the Hardys and with the Undertaker.
It was amazing. I loved it.
It was shot to fuck. There were gimmicks everywhere.
Yep.
We had Gallows and Anderson. We had Druids. We had, it was a great little fun back and forth thing.
Right.
Shot to hell.
This is how they saved WrestleMania right here.
It was hard to describe what it was.
You just have to watch it. It wasn't a match. It was literally a movie.
If you have about, 25 minutes to kill, watch this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, this did not make Undertaker look terrible. The last couple of matches, I'm sorry, hate to tell you people, but he looked bad.
Yeah, Undertaker looked bad in his last few matches. Do you really want a regular match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles? No. I'd rather have this because at least this was something where The Undertaker could shine a little bit. I loved how he brought back a hybrid of his American Badass gimmick.
Mm-hmm. It was cool.
And I like the kind of new, I don't want to call it a theme song, but I guess it really is a theme song.
The Metallica thing.
Yep.
He buried Styles in a grave. They cut this so great too.
Oh my God, they did.
I can't say good enough things about this match. There's something that's going to be similar, but we'll cross that bridge after the break.
Yes. So I don't have anything else to talk about with that one, but The Undertaker, I guess, technically, quote-unquote, won.
He won. He walked out of the Boneyard.
He walked out of the Boneyard on his own 2 feet on his motorcycle, so there we go.
That was our criterion for him winning the match.
Yep, and so, Tiger Height, best match of the night in rating for the whole show for night number 1.
If you want to say, for me, an actual match.
Let's do the actual match in the ring.
Morrison, Kingston, Uso was the best match of the night, and that was a close second, like a hair close second, was the women's tag team title match.
All right, I'll go with the same thing. But do you think that the Styles Undertaker segment was better?
Yes.
That was a highlight. Yeah, that was a highlight of the night. I think we'll discuss that when we do the aftermath of COVID.
Yep.
But I really do feel like that this might be kind of a future regular thing that we see.
Right.
But anyways, star rating for night number 1 of WrestleMania.
I'm going to give it a 4. That's being generous. With the 3 highlights, the rest of it was either okay to a little disappointing or completely fucking trash.
Right.
But I'm going to give it a 4, even with the 24/7 champion segment made me smile. And honestly, Gronk was not as absolutely boneheadedly, I want to slit my wrists in the glorious name of Satan Death, that I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
That was really dark.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5 here. So, same thing. Morrison, Kofi, Uso. That was probably the best match. And then I love the AJ Styles Undertaker segments as well.
That was really good.
At this point in time, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we will do part number 2.
Yes. And this is part number 3 of the 32nd episode of the Pro Wrestling Zone, but also night number 2 for WrestleMania.
Yeah, half an hour ago, yeah.
Half an hour? It's like an hour.
Kind of. About a half an hour ago.
Relative. So, let us just go right into it. I don't think we really need to do much.
Let's talk about the pre-show match, though.
Also, it was confirmed that I believe that was Johnny Depp who did the introduction.
Oh, yes, I think it was. Yes, the introduction. If you listen to the introduction, I think it was Johnny Depp who actually did that.
I'm not surprised.
My back is sweaty.
What? Okay, sure.
I don't know. I was itching it, and it was kind of slimy back there.
Anyways,
let's talk about the pre-show match. Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Yes.
It was not offensive. I didn't hate the match. It's good seeing Liv. She's really cute.
But still, it sounded like sex noises.
Which is fine.
Which is fine, but turn it down if you're going to see it again.
No, crank it up. put your microphones outside. I want everybody to know that I'm watching interesting shit. So, I can't even remember who fucking won. Oh, Liv Morgan won.
Yes.
By roll-up. So,
you only live once.
Can you stop?
No. I like feeling my back.
Peanut Gallery is weird. So, our first actual match of that, for the first time ever, an NXT champion was defended at WrestleMania for the NXT Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. This match was excellent.
Oh, this was an awesome match.
This blew me away of how good this was. Charlotte obviously led. Like, there's no ifs, ands, buts, contentions, conjectures, nothing.
But Rhea Ripley, she can stand her ground with the best.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she is in that conversation now with the top.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but Charlotte won.
Yeah.
I was surprised about that. Charlotte Flair.
I was surprised about that as well.
Well, you stop.
And I think that Charlotte's going to go back to NXT.
Peanut Gallery's distracting.
I don't care. Go fuck yourself.
So, yes, Charlotte Flair is a two-time NXT Women's Champion.
Three-time.
She is two-time. She only had the NXT Championship once.
No, she had it twice, I thought.
No, she had it once.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Peanut Gallery should look at his fucking history.
You know what? Fuck you, poor dog.
So, yes, it was a figure 8. It was a really good match. Man, they told a great story.
They told a great story.
Rhea Ripley flopping around like a fish was also kind of interesting.
Yep.
I thought that was kind of humorous. But, yeah, Charlotte Flair won. It was a very good match. I was surprised this was the opening match.
Oh, I was too. Absolutely surprised. But, yeah, Charlotte won. Going NXT pretty much. Yay.
Did you say Scarlett?
No, Charlotte.
All right, I'll play it back and hear it.
Okay.
So, Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley.
In a match for reasons, it was surprisingly a pretty good match.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I did too.
It told a really good story.
And I like how Bobby Lashley might be betraying Lana because that needs to happen like 8 months ago.
Right?
It's kind of weird at this point.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's like, okay, this doesn't even look natural. I mean, not because Lana is married to. It's not because it's like a white girl with a gigantic black man. But
it's like we all know that she's already married to fucking Rusev. You can get over your act.
Right. It's like
get over it.
Thank God Zelina Vega, Aleister Black, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins are like in separate things doing their own thing so people don't associate them with themselves.
Right.
It's like, great, they're dating. That's nothing new. But why do you put Lana in this weird love triangle with this? Also, fun fact, if you really want to know, totally off thing, but somebody actually brought this up. When Ken Shamrock was in a rivalry with Val Venus, do you remember Ryan Shamrock?
No.
She was the kayfabe sister of Ken Shamrock in a love triangle with Val Venus. But Ryan Shamrock was the girlfriend of Ken Shamrock. So she was pretending to be his sister in a relationship with another man.
That's weird.
We might do an episode on like weird relationship things in pro wrestling. That'd be kind of fun. That might be like our
our Valentine's Day special.
Yes.
That for next year.
Creepy, incestuous relationships.
Yeah, Lita and Kane. Yeah,
Lita and Edge.
Yeah. Well, that one was real. That was IRL.
Yes, I'm fully aware. Well,
speaking of live triangles.
So anyway, Black.
Speaking.
Just for sake, Aleister Black did win with a black mass.
It was a surprisingly good match.
It was really good.
It was.
Nothing against Aleister Black or Bobby Lashley. They did a really good match with a very little build. I liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, a nice little palate cleanser.
Well, speaking of a real love triangle, let's talk about Dolph Ziggler and Otis.
So the video package was superb.
The
Friday Night Smackdown that led to this, they released that at the perfect time.
Oh my God, it was perfect.
Where it was like a conspiracy where, Mandy Rose, who was, framed for essentially blowing off Otis and people yelling at her at the very end, literally like 2 days ago is when it was released that Sonya Deville sent a text to Otis stating that she was running late.
Right.
To telling Dolph Ziggler to meet her there. She's there right now, trying to get Otis away. And it's like, there was a chemistry. Otis and Ziggler also had a really fun match.
It was surprisingly a good match.
Otis looked aggressive.
Yep.
Sonya Deville's out there with Dolph Ziggler, really
which
playing into
really
that.
added. I liked they had good chemistry together. Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville. No, Dolph and Sonya. They looked like they were like partners in on this together. Like they looked the parts. I love how Mandy Rose came out, slapped the shit out of Sonya Deville.
It was a great Wrestlemania
Came
moment.
in low blow to Dolph Ziggler, and then Otis did the caterpillar, and Dolph Ziggler and Otis won the match. He got the girl, and every white man in America who is fat like us are happy.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean,
it was the perfect love story.
You see, it
had more drama than Days of Our Lives.
Oh, people, and also I saw people on Instagram saying that just the story alone sold the match.
Oh, absolutely.
And now people were saying that it should have been a mixed tag, and I'm going to agree with them to a point. I think it would have been really cool to see that, but at the same time, I liked what they did.
Maybe if they had 4 extra weeks, they could have built it up to a mixed tag.
Right.
But I think that just having the guys go at it for this purpose was absolutely perfect. Now, if this rivalry continues, if it does continue, I could see it go to a mixed tag. But I really don't see a point in it. Otis got the gal. Otis is happy. Otis is a happy animal, and everyone else is just happy.
There might have been catering, but Otis got his pie. So
all right.
It was a feel good moment.
It was a good match.
Otis, the one thing about Otis that I love is that his expressions are so spot on.
Oh yes.
It's like when he was like asking asking Mandy Rose on a date. She's like, I'm busy that day. He looked so sad. It's like, I'm not available next week. His head like buckled up and he looked like he was about to go out for a match. He was like, there's a chance. And it was so like he knows this.
He knows. And that's the thing. It's like
I can't see Otis as the goofy guy be anything more than what he is, and I could be wrong. But honestly, he could be Santino Marella, where he's still very popular, sells a lot of merch, makes a great living, maybe wins a tag team or secondary title, and maybe if he becomes popular enough, he could be thrown into a main event scene. Because also, he's very powerful.
He is.
He looks good. And
he's very athletic.
He's very athletic. And I think he's just going to get better because he's still very young.
He is.
So, good on both of them. Ziggler cannot be stressed enough. He looked like the douchebag guy.
He was the douchebag heel. He played a very well heel.
But
wow.
But this is another thing where it looks like these guys wanted to do a program together, and they were having fun.
Right.
They looked like they were enjoying themselves doing this, and I think people connected with that because they felt that raw emotion that honestly lacks in a lot of these other stories.
Right. So, I mean, it's kind of like the whole thing with Rusev. There was no emotion. There was nothing.
Because it's hard to go against your wife when she's kissing another man, especially when everybody knows that you're involved.
Everyone knows that you two are married. Like, just stop the act.
Right. Anyway,
speaking of another great emotional rivalry,
I was extremely conflicted with this match on many levels. Edge versus Randy Orton in the Last Man Standing match.
The story building up to it was just a 10 out of 10. Just perfection on a plate.
And also, the match itself on how they played to that story was 10 out of 10. But my issue was that there were parts that weren't necessary.
Oh, absolutely.
I felt like it dragged.
Yeah.
And
it dragged on for a while. We kind of got bored, but I like how Edge got his revenge with the concerto.
He sold so well. He was crying. Then he got really mad. It's like you can see it in his head where he remembers Rated RKO and they were brothers. And when Randy Orton was at his lowest, Edge was there, and he's like, "My God, this is my best friend. What am I doing?" But then he's like, "What did he do to me? What did he say about my kids? What did he say about my wife?" And he gets pissed and does it. And you can as a
it was an Emmy in the making. I mean, this guy. 100. I mean, this Emmy is just gonna be Edge.
And Randy Orton did it too.
Oh my God, yes.
This is why these two did what they did.
Yes, exactly. It's all about the mind games with these two.
They pulled off a hell of a last man standing match.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
It was a great match. It just dragged a little bit. Really,
it did.
Really, that's my honestly only big criticism.
Yeah, that's my only one too. Let's talk about Gronkowski winning the 24. So Gronkowski jumped off the ledge.
Yes, onto a pile of people, including Mojo Rawley, who was running around defending them off, and he pinned Mojo. So Ron Gronkowski is the current 24/7 champion.
And then Titus O'Neil took over,
which was weird, but whatever. That was really about it. Gronk just looks like he's having a ball, and I think that's why I'm like, I don't hate this.
Right. Well, let's talk about the match of the night here.
Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Angel Garza.
There wasn't a lot of chemistry with Austin Theory and Angel Garza.
It was just too sudden, and I understand why they did it. It was a frog splash by Montez to retain the titles.
Yep.
Zelina Vega starts attacking Montez, and then
Bianca Belair. So it looks like they're going to lose Charlotte. Raw's going to lose Charlotte, but they're going to get Bianca Belair, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with that.
And Shayna Baszler.
Yes.
They're going to get both Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair. So I think for overall, it was an easy enough trade-off.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're going to continue this. For me, it's not the fact that Austin Theory was a replacement. It was just that it was such a sudden last-minute replacement.
Right.
And obviously, Andrade got hurt.
Right.
There was nothing we could do or say about that.
But I can see Zelina Vega running a faction with Angel, Austin, and Andrade.
And if I was going to be totally honest, and I hate saying this, they should have scrapped the tag title match.
Oh, yeah, they
should
have.
Do a segment if they want Bianca Belair to get involved in some fashion. And if they wanted to do Austin Theory and Angel Garza versus Street Profits at the next pay-per-view, perfect. Because then now you can build it where Zelina Vega has this faction. And I kind of like that fact.
Right.
I think the faction of Andrade, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory is a cool little faction.
Right, it is. Absolutely. But that's pretty much what happens. We already talked about O'Neil coming out.
Yeah, this is when he came out and started grunting like a fucking alligator giving birth. Anyway, fatal 5-way elimination match for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Bayley, Sasha, Tamina, Lacey, and Naomi. Let's talk about who really shined in this.
Tamina
and
Lacey Evans.
Yes. Wow. Lacey Evans pinned Sasha Banks while staring a hole into Bayley's chest.
Right. Tamina was a dominant force at the get-go.
Oh, absolutely.
The people who really needed to be built, for the most part, because Naomi, Sasha, and Bayley are already established as fantastic wrestlers who can pull off a great match.
But wow,
Tamina,
I was most impressed with Lacey Evans.
Really? I was more impressed with Tamina.
Oh.
I thought with Tamina's age and what we've seen from her later, you could tell that, like I said, it was more of that fun factor.
Right.
Where she was all in 110%, and it shows. Bayley, the chicken shit heel, won with a modified facebuster on Lacey Evans to retain this match. So between the women's matches, and I'm going to go into this now because I feel like we just should get this out off of our chest now.
Yes.
The Raw Women's Championship match was the
worst.
Weakest out of the 4.
5.
What was the 5th one?
The pre-show match. I thought it was weaker than the pre-show match was.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't even fucking count that shit.
Oh, no, I thought the pre-show match was a little bit better than the Raw Championship match.
I think the Raw Women's Championship match.
I don't know. It was pretty weak. At least the pre-show match had an ending.
For the fatal for the 4 women's matches on the regular show, the Raw Women's Champion, the one that was just the easiest to book. Obviously, you knew who should have won and how to do it, and they didn't.
Right.
They didn't do it. They had Becky Lynch retain. People are getting sick and tired of this, and Shayna Baszler had the momentum, and for some weird reason, this is guaranteeing that Vince is not on Shayna anymore.
Right.
Where Shayna should just say, fuck you,
I'm going
to
to
AEW, and absolutely destroy, because I want to see Shayna Baszler and Nyla Rose. Done.
Booked. Done. Booked. Let's book it right now.
Double or nothing. See ya. I'll be there.
The strongest match, in my opinion, was the
NXT.
With the NXT.
That was
this one. The Fatal 5-Way though was a close second.
Very close second.
Very close. Anyways, Bayley begrudgingly won because that means that Tiger Height is still the Majestic Champion of the world. It was.
Yep.
It was 4-on-3. We were literally tied up until this match.
Yep. It was that close.
It was that close.
And we do that every time too. Every time we do predictions, we have this one match that determines everything.
Exactly.
And I was surprised that Sasha was eliminated as quickly as
I
she
was
did.
surprised too, but it made Lacey Evans look tremendous.
Yep. And I didn't hate it.
Tremendous. We were doing a tremendous job with Lacey Evans. My name is Trump.
Are you gonna build a wall?
I'm gonna build.
Okay, so probably.
Let's talk about this non-match, but it was a thing.
I'll be honest, I might need to watch this again because I'm not sure what I saw. I
think all of us were tripping balls at this time.
This was the Fiend.
Weren't all of us on shrooms? Oh, I like it when the Vince McMahon puppet says, "This is some good shit."
And they didn't bleep it out either, which was great. It was the Fiend versus John Cena in the Firefly Funhouse match.
And John Cena went into the door where, like...
It says, abandon hope.
All ye who enter, or whatever.
And it said here, but then, so Cena went through all of the iterations of his gimmick. So,
and oh my God,
Wyatt did the same promo of Kurt Angle when Cena debuted, and Cena wore a very similar gear.
Yes.
They went to John Cena with basic thugonomics.
Yep.
They went to the match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena at WrestleMania 30. It was just the antithesis of everything from the beginning up until the end. And they told this intense, very complex, where you couldn't even look at Twitter or anything. You need to understand the nuances to get a grasp of everything that happened.
Right.
That made, I believe, myself at the very least. I can't speak for Peanut Gallery. I mean,
it made me rock hard.
I appreciated it, and I believe if I could speak very bluntly, I think that is it for John Cena. He lost.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt won with a solid 1-2-3.
I think Bray Wyatt, his whole Fiend gimmick was reinvigorated. I think it pretty much destroyed his loss.
Yep. They brought it up, and it was super interesting. There's so many things going on. It's hard to really describe on what this was.
You need to watch it.
But it was so good. I think everybody said that. They're like, what else does John Cena have to do? He's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
He could have taken this. He could have eaten this loss. I still think he's done. I think this is it.
But I think John Cena took the fall for the Fiend so that the Fiend can build himself back up.
Right.
And that happened.
It was so good.
I wonder if Bray Wyatt will do the same thing with Goldberg in a non-title match.
That'd be cool.
I see that.
Right. Finally, I can't really... before, do you have anything else to say about this match?
I think we'll talk about kind of our feelings at the very end. But let's talk about Brock versus Drew.
So, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre for the WWE Champion.
It was a quick match. Drew won after a million Claymore kicks. Well, it was like 5.
It was 5. It was 5 Claymores. And, yes, they
finally
did it. Drew McIntyre has fulfilled the destiny that was given to him, I think, too early in his career. They went through really his dark time, and where I'm glad they did not give him the WWE champion at the moment that they were going to, because you can give somebody the WWE champion where they're not mentally prepared for that responsibility.
Right.
And Drew even came out and said, I was not mentally ready for it.
Right.
And Lesnar getting pinned clean to Drew really shows that Lesnar wanted to take the fall.
Yes.
And I think he's also done, but also this is the coronation of Drew McIntyre being the man.
Right, the guy to beat.
The champion. And he is sitting on the top of the WWE world along with Braun Strowman. And the future at the end of the day here looks bright as fuck. And
absolutely,
honestly, with this was the close of WrestleMania. They did it.
Right.
I was so worried about this WrestleMania. I'm like, what are they going to do? How are they going to do this? How are they going to build with no fans? What are they going to do? And
they knocked it out of the ballpark.
They knocked it out of the park.
Anyways, let's do your favorite match of the night for night 2. And then we'll do your rating for night 2, and then we'll do best match of the whole show and the overall rating for the whole show.
I am going based on every single match. Night 2 was hard, let's put it that way. For night 2 specifically, I am going to give it to Edge and Randy Orton.
Okay.
With a very close second for Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
The entire thing of the night was John Cena, Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse match.
And star rating for night 2.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay.
It was much better than the night before, but there were still some things in here that were like less than desirable for the most part, but nothing was inherently bad.
Okay. Now, so what about for the whole show?
I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. And your favorite match of the whole show?
I'm going to give it to Edge Randy.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say the same for night 2. Night 2, Edge and Randy Orton, not only on a match level, but on a storyline level, was tremendous. Their emotions showed. I mean, it was just a great match.
It just went a little too long.
It did. But I'm going to give the whole thing a 4 out of 5 stars for night 2. My favorite match of the whole pay-per-view, I'm going to give it to Edge Randy.
It's just that emotion, but what about your overall star rating for the entire show?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Do you believe this was a WrestleMania-worthy event where people can look back at this and say, that's a WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I believe so, too.
I mean, it would have been better if there were fans, obviously, but they should do 2 nights from now on. I think
easily.
And so here's my takeaways from it. Number 1, they should do WrestleMania over 2 nights. This should be a thing. It is very easy to digest 2 shows of 3, even if the night 2 was 3.5 hours.
Yep.
I can manage 3.5 hours. I can't manage 7 hours of straight wrestling.
Right.
I just can't. That's too much.
New Japan did it right, and I think WWE saw that, and they're like, let's give this a try. And honestly, I don't think anybody bitched about it.
No, I think that they probably made more money.
I think so, too.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is these, like the Firefly Funhouse match and the Boneyard match, I think they should be regular fixtures as WWE Network exclusive matches.
But make them very far in between. Make them only for specialty shows.
Like SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I mean, if there's a rivalry that warrants it, like, you cannot do AJ Styles versus The Undertaker in a regular match. That just is not... The Undertaker is not going to work that way. Yeah. And you want some psychological thrillers? You really think that the Fiend Bray Wyatt versus John Cena can just happen? No, this Firefly Funhouse match was better than any match that they could put on. Yep.
I'm
just going to be honest with you. I think that that's awesome. I think they should incorporate matches like that because, when you go to a live show, you have those dark matches. Right. Before and after. So in lieu of that, the live fans get a match exclusive to the live event.
Right.
And then we on the network who are watching it at home get it exclusively
on the network.
Get it exclusively on the network.
Right. I think that'd be really cool. I think this was an experiment and they knocked it out of the park. The build to these matches were fantastic.
Yep.
And honestly, I mean, there's not really much more I can honestly say.
No.
Except for thank you guys for listening. I know it was kind of a longer show, but next week we have a double header we're going to talk about the dark side of the ring that covers a brawl for all, but then our discussion is going to be shoots in professional wrestling. We're going to talk about the history, ramifications, if it's like if they could do shoots in wrestling that aren't entirely dangerous,
right,
and the effects on it as a whole, because wrestling is so unique.
Right.
Shoots are very unique in wrestling just because of what it is, not just in the physical aspect of a shoot, but in a storyline aspect of a shoot.
Absolutely.
So like Montreal Screwjob, for instance.
Right.
The one I know. The one with Wendy Rector and the Spider Lady. We're going to cover all of those. So thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this, follow us on whatever platform you're listening on and share it with your friends. Become a patron if you want to watch the next pay-per-view with us as well. I think it's like a $50 plea or a $50 pledge, pardon. And then also you get MP Throwback where we will cover an old pay-per-view. And you get, a lot of other cool things, including, hangouts and discussions with Peanut Gallery and myself.
Yeah!
So if you want to sign up and do that, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us on our social media.
And as always, be
majestic.